Once again, the Ogres have descended from the icy north in search for fresh meat. Mighty Mournfang cavalry flank blocks of Ogres wielding all manner of weapons. The hunt is being led by a thick-skinned slaughtermaster who has set his eyes on the domain of the Wood Elves. The Wood Elves, knowing the threat of the Ogres, rally their best warriors, equipped with sword and bow. Even creatures from the forest have answered to the call. They will fight to defend their homeland to the bitter end. Hello fellow Old World inhabitants and welcome to a new battle report. A short battle report featuring Timo of the Ogres and GladeLord of the Wood Elves. It's been a while since the last video, since I've been doing a lot of painting for an upcoming 40k tournament, and I was also on holiday. But without further ado, let's get right into the action. Let's see which of these two armies will claim victory.
Welcome to the second battle of the Tournament of Terror. Today it's the Ogre Kingdoms versus the Wood Elves, and let's go through the battlefield first. We have, as is Wood Elf fashion, two woodland terrain. One of those has been replaced by the Wood Elf army special rule. Over here we have a very cozy house, a low linear obstacle next to it. On this side we've decided to play this as kind of a swampy, dangerous terrain. Over here we have two hills on the flank. That's basically it for terrain.
Yes, and the rest, those pillars, etc. are for decoration only. So that's the terrain part. Army description of the Ogres, let's go.
Over on the left flank we have a unit of 4 Mournfang with Iron Fist. They have a standard berg, magic standard, the Razor standard. We have here a giant, 1 unit of 4 Iron Guts, no command. 1 unit of 3 Ogre Bulls with Iron Fists. 1 unit of 5 Iron Guts with a standard berg. 20 Noblars. A Slaughtermaster equipped with Grut's Sickle and Battle Magic. He rolled Curse of Arrow Attraction, Arcane Urgency, Pillar of Fire, and I swapped 1 spell for Troll Guts. We have 1 unit of 4 Man-Eaters. They are fully equipped. They all have the Brace of Ogre Pistols. The champion specifically has a great weapon. They have heavy armor and they all have Iron Fists, bringing them to a 4-up save. They took Vanguard and Poisoned attacks. And then last but definitely not least, we have 1 unit of 4 Mournfang. These are equipped with great weapons. They have a standard berg and they are equipped with the Cannibal Totem. On to the danger that is the Wood Elf Empire.
First off, the Wild Riders, equipped with shields and banner of the Hunter King and full command. They already made their Vanguard move. Then we have here 8 GladeGuard with Arcane Bodkins and Musician. 6 Deepwood Scouts with True Flight Arrows. 6 GladeGuard with True Flight Arrows. 6 Deepwood Scouts with True Flight Arrows. Behind we have the 3 men, 5 Glade Riders with Spellweaver level 4 with the Law of Elementalism spells, Tree Singing, Plague of Rust, Travel Mystical Pathway and Wind Blast. 2 units of 6 War Dancers, 1 with a champion, and the champion has the Potion of Strength, and both have musicians. Another unit of 8 GladeGuard with Arcane Bodkins and a musician. A level 4 Spellweaver on foot with Battle Magic. I got Fireball, Arcane Urgency, Pillar of Fire and Tree Singing. And the 3 man with the spikes that give the enemy in base contact -1 weapon skill and initiative.
End of Ogre turn 1. On the left flank, during the Vanguard, oh yeah, that's maybe nice to contribute. The Wild Riders and the Man-Eaters both made a Vanguard move. They both chose to move forward a little bit. This put the Mournfang well within charge range of the Wild Riders, whilst they could in turn 1 not perform a charge. So they decided to move back a little bit. Giant moved up a little bit. The Ogre Infantry moved up its max value, had to take 1 dangerous terrain test here, which they failed, so took 1 wound. Let's see, moved up. During the magic phase, sadly, the Oaken Stave is proving to be a very strong item, allowing none of my magic to go through.
Except for the Pillar of
Oh
Fire.
yeah, and that's not none of my magic indeed. Pillar of Fire. And then the Man-Eaters tried Ruby Ring, did not succeed. Then they shot all of the shots into the forest here, only hitting on 6s, which none of them succeeded. Over to Wood Elf turn 1.
Wood Elf turn 1. The Wild Riders tried to charge the Mournfang, but they failed, so they moved 3 inch forward. The GladeGuard, they stayed put, tried to fire at the Giant, but they did not do any wounds. The Glade Riders with their Wizard, however, did. They cast successfully Wind Blast, causing 2 wounds on the Giant, and the Giant needed to give ground. Furthermore, the Wizard cast Tree Singing right over there, so making a potential charge a little bit more difficult. The D-Wood Scouts moved a little bit sideways and the Tree Man moved behind it, and both the units here, they moved just backwards. Before the Wizard moved, they casted Plague of Rust against the Ogre Bulls, preparing them for a volley fire of the Archers, which caused 1 Ogre to die. The War Dancers moved towards the back of the lines here, and the other unit towards the right. Here the Wizard moved forward, and trying to get some line of sight, trying to cast Fireball on the Man-Eaters, but I believe that did not work. It worked, but it did only do 1 wound in the end, and the Archers did nothing. The Tree Man, they moved quickly to meet the Mournfang threat in the face, so he is ready to receive that charge.
So end of Ogre turn 2, and quite an impactful turn. Let's start over at the left. So after looking at the rules a little bit, we found out if I charge the Wild Riders, they have to counter-charge me back because of the Frenzy, which made my charge very possible. So they went in at each other, rolled a lot of impact hits, so 2 of his models were dead before the combat. Then I lost 3 wounds, he also lost 3 wounds, so the Wild Riders die. The Giant, he moves up a lot.
Just into the forest.
Just into the forest, so he can see some stuff. The Ogre Infantry basically moves up as far as makes sense, hopefully getting into action the turn after. Then here the Wizard and his little squad of death groupies, they move up. He killed some more of them. Oh, I have to remove 1 more by the way. Pillar of Fire managed to succeed that. Also managed to succeed Curse of Arrow Attraction on the level 4. More about that in a moment. Then also the Mournfang took the flank charge on the Tree Man. That combat went quite in my favor. I had to roll a lot of 5s and 6s to hit, and I did. I rolled many of them. So they win that combat. The Tree Man still has 2 wounds. He did 1 wound to me. Talking about 5s and 6s, the Ogres with Arcane Urgency were managed to move into the forest, giving them very clear shots at the level 4 with his Oaken Stave, which was being very annoying. I had to roll 5 and 6s to hit, and most of my shots were 5s and 6s. So that Wizard went down. So that puts me in seemingly quite a good spot. Over to turn 2 for the Wood Elves.
Turn 2 of the Wood Elves. We're starting off on the positive side. I managed to get a Plague of Rust on the Mournfang, which in previous turn obviously destroyed my Wild Riders, but now I got a turn to shoot with my Arcane Bodkine's arrows at them, doing 2 wounds I believe, which caused 1 of them to die and caused them to flee. The Wind Blast of the Wizard was also successful, causing another 2 wounds on a Giant, pushing him back out of the forest. Then we got some movement shenanigans in the center, trying to make best of the situation that we have. War Dancers moved a bit sideways, reforming in a new formation, and War Dancers here moved a lot back. The True Flight Arrows GladeLord moved a lot back, hoping to get a fire and flee in next turn if I got charged. With some shots I killed another Ogre. The shooting on the Iron Guts was unsuccessful. And these Deepwood Scouts have marched, so they couldn't move, but then they moved nicely through the Ogre lines, hopefully getting another turn of shooting next turn. The GladeLord here shot at the Man-Eaters and killed one of them, did 3 wounds, so very happy with that. And they moved a little bit to the side, so they wouldn't at least get a charge from the Iron Guts, just from the Man-Eaters. And sadly, the Mournfang utterly destroyed my Tree-Man. So that's the end of the turn 2 of the Wood Elves, and things are looking very bleak, but we're trying to hold on and get the best from what is.
End of Ogre turn 3, let's get to it. Somewhat hidden behind some trees, the giant has made his charge move versus those archers over there. They ran and flee, he followed up, so he's a little bit exposed. Let's see what happens. Over on this flank you might notice a little bit of an empty spot. That's because the Mournfang 1, they did not rally. 2, they rolled really high on their running away, whatever, they're dead. I didn't even love them ever. Over here, the 4 Iron Guts charge into the flank. 2 wounds on the Tree Man. They also took 3 wounds, but they have a flank, so it's a tie. They stay there. A little bit to the right, these Mournfang performed a charge move versus these
Deepwood Scouts?
Deepwood Scouts, thank you, who did a fire and flee move. Seems like I almost made it, but I used Arcane Urgency on them, bring them closer. Also the Slaughtermaster and the Noblars made their way more toward the middle of the map, making themselves ready for the next rounds of combat. Over on this right side we have the Man-Eaters, hidden in the forest, really cozy and snuggly. They used their shooting on the small unit of GladeLord that were there. Didn't manage to kill them all, so Fireball was also used there, the Ruby Ring. Almost last but not least, the 5 Iron Guts moved up, hopefully preparing for some battle, and we have one very lonely Ogre Bull made a charge move versus that GladeLord unit that fired and fled, barely catching them, but not entirely. So now we go to the Wood Elf turn 3.
Alright, so Wood Elf turn 3. First off, we took the Glade Riders which stood here, moved all the way back here, shot the giant with a 3rd wind blast, very successfully killing the giant. The combat between the Tree Man and the Iron Guts was joined by the War Dancers, which charged into the flank, winning the combat considerably, and then following up in the pursuit. The scouts moved around a bit, and combined shooting killed the lone bull.
Ogre Bull, yes.
Ogre Bull, which was stood here. The Iron Guts here did not take any damage. Man-Eaters did not take any damage, and I moved my War Dancers up to the side there, and that's pretty much it. I could not dispel the pillar, so that will take another move, and then we go to the Ogre turn 4.
Ogre turn 4. Some stuff happened. The Slaughtermaster and the Noblars, they moved up around here. The Noblars actually did a wound to the Deepwood Scouts, which that's the first wound the Noblars have ever done for me. I'm very excited about that. The Slaughtermaster did some magic. I think I even forgot to apply the Arrow Attraction curse. Also Arcane Urgency, because the Ogres over here, they wheeled a lot but then got to reform, so they were positioned a little bit more comfortably. In the battle between the Tree Man, the Wild Dancers, and the one solo Iron Gut, obviously the Iron Gut got utterly destroyed. The Tree Man had to make an overrun, ended up into the Mournfang.
He tried to restrain, but he did not, and he overran into the Mournfang.
Correct. Over here, the Man-Eaters, they failed their bound fireball, and in the shooting phase, they shot 3 of the Wild Dancers
What
to
else?
death. War Dancers, excuse me. To death. That's basically it for the Ogres. Onto the Wood Elves. We're very close together. A lot of action bound to be happening.
Turn 4 for the Wood Elves. The Glade Riders with the Wizard did a lot of damage on the Iron Guts here, eventually causing them, together with some shooting, them to flee. The 3-man overran into the Mournfang, and the War Dancers got teleported with the Wizard towards the flank, hoping to get a flank charge in next turn. If the 3-man can hold on for this long, the War Dancers on the left side, they failed their charge, so they moved a little bit up, and that's pretty much it for the Wood Elf turn 4.
End of Ogre turn 5. Not particularly much happened. The Iron Guts, they rallied, reformed, and went that way. Fireball on the Ruby Ring has not been able to cast. A little bit of shooting was done from them from the Man-Eaters into the Scouts. They did 3 wounds, but no panic. Slaughtermaster cast Pillar of Fire near the Archers. Oh yes, Arrow Attraction was also on them, which did actually end up mattering quite a bit. The Goblins fired some knives, not successfully. Over here, the Mournfang won the combat with the 3-man, finished his last 2 wounds off. They lost a model in turn, so 4 wounds lost. It did not come cheap. And that's basically it for now. Over to Wood Elves turn 5.
Wood Elf turn 5. So we're trying to get the most amount of points. The War Dancers here completely retreated because they see no chance at killing the Mournfang. The Wizard, however, saw a big chance in destroying the Iron Guts here, and they did. The War Dancers on the left, they moved out of harm's way. That's it.
The end of all of the turns for the Ogres. What have we done? Well, the Nobles, they did try some shooting, and while that was very valiant, they did not hit anything, as is expected of the Nobles. The Man-Eaters performed the reform, and as you see no Wild Dancers over there, that means they have been shot to death. Then finally, the Mournfang did a very valiant let's get all the way out of there, so that at least there's no short range shooting on them. And finally, we casted a Pillar of Flame there, which is guaranteed to go through both units, hopefully taking them out.
With most of the Wood Elf forces either destroyed or routing, Timo and GladeLord have decided to put an end to this game. Once again, the Ogres have ensured their dominance in the old world. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like and subscribe. And I hope to see you next time in the World of Legend. Until then.